the matter, Drew?
Nothing. No, that was a. Oh, come on! Don't assume things.
Welcome to Sunrise Extra on a Wednesday. We are talking dream job because the U.S. Bureau of Labor yesterday dropped some statistics in their jobs report, and there is the most job openings ever in history are happening right now. There was like 9.1 point something million jobs open.
Should point out that my job is not open as far as I know.
As far as you know.
Man, I just got a text from my mom. Weirdly.
What did she say?
You want to read it?
Oh, let me
this
see.
The last text. I don't know if you want to read that.
Oh, it just says happy hump.
Happy hump.
My mother sent me a text that says happy hump.
Wednesday.
Thank you, Mom.
Run that Geico commercial, please.
Happiest humps to you.
Exactly, yeah. So we're asking you, like, if you could, have your dream job or switch careers, and maybe you are thinking of, a lot of people are thinking of switching careers out of the pandemic, but what would be your dream job? And we posted this question. I was trying to think, no, we did a different poll, but text us, let us know, or in the live stream, let us know what your dream job would be now that there's so many openings.
There's a lot to be realistic, right?
Whatever you dream. Anything. Let's start with you. Go around the table.
Well, I asked that because I could be a pro golfer, but that's not realistic. So,
but that could be your dream.
But that wouldn't be. I mean, at some point, did you think, man, if I just worked at this hard enough, maybe I could join the senior tour? Or no, never even a possibility.
I know a little bit too much about myself to know that really wasn't possible.
What about like a golf pro at a course or something?
Nah, those guys have to work, man. Golf pros at local clubs, they work hard. They do. To me, for whatever reason, being a storekeeper, like a nice little mini mart. I could run that, or my ultimate dream job has always been running Rod's Chili House on the shores of Lake Tahoe.
I would like to see that happen.
My own chili. Have
chili dogs.
Things that go with chili dogs.
And Fritos.
And some beer and Fritos and nachos and, and that type of thing. But I have my own little store of some sort.
My cousin, I'll tell this real quickly, but my cousin was an engineer. He went to school at Georgia Tech, got a job in engineering, that's what he studied, and was making, I think, pretty decent money right out of college. But his dream job was to do something in golf. So he got a job as an assistant pro at a really nice course in Pennsylvania. Yeah. And apparently he said, and I don't know about pros, but assistant pros, he said, get paid very little. And they basically paid him in, you can play on this beautiful course anytime you want.
Sounds like television.
And then he got married, and his wife was like, you need to go back to doing some kind of engineering job. And so he did. It was like back to reality.
But he did that stint, and that's kind of a cool story, in your life of like, hey, you have so many stories of different jobs that you've done.
Well, I've probably the most unique job in a lot of ways that was the most adventurous was when I was a flight attendant. Again, if you don't know, when I got out of college, before I really got into TV, I flew for the old TWA, Trans World Airlines, for 3.5 years.
How old were you?
I was
right out of college, you were super young.
Mid-20s.
Yeah. Are you the reason it ended?
But how much training is that?
That would be a guy by the name of Carl Icahn, not myself. Who sold off all the European gate rights and put the money in his own pocket, as I understand it. But the great thing was, this was back when TWA was at the time, they were the premier transatlantic European carrier in the United States. And you still had all the big aircraft. It's kind of really the last romantic golden age of aviation, where you still had all the elaborate first service, food service. You still had the hot service coming out, hand-carried trays. In the coach section of the plane, And,
I think you'd be a hoot on board.
He would be so fun.
Nuts as you are right now.
It was fun.
Was their main hub in the country in St. Louis? Is that right?
TWA was based out of St. Louis.
I think I flew TWA for my first flight to Portland from the East Coast through St. Louis to here.
Big on the East Coast back in the day, out of Philly, Boston, and LaGuardia and JFK and all of them.
Nice.
Let's go unrealistic. Dream jobs, and then we'll get to the viewers' comments. So, Nina, you're next on the table.
I would love to do something like, and boy, this is perfect timing, but something like Anthony Bourdain, of like a travel, eating. I mean, you see the world, you meet fascinating people, and you just learn life lessons, and he was such a wonderful storyteller.
You could highlight Rod's Chili House on Lake Tahoe. As part of that show.
There you go. Yeah, and sadly, we lost him 3 years ago yesterday. 3 years?
I think you would be perfect at that.
Yeah, I think that would be, it's hard to have a family and travel and do that stuff because you're gone a lot, but I think that would be really, really cool.
What about you?
The one I thought was realistic at one point in life, which probably still is, would be screenwriter You know, writing movies, making movies.
Really? Wow.
Probably star in those very same movies.
Yes, you would.
Here's the script that I wrote myself into. But no, I always thought that would be a blast to like work in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Entertain. I always wanted to entertain. We did that for many years during the Out and About segment.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's as entertaining when I'm reading stories about wildfires and accidents on I-5.
You're growing into it.
But again, it's never going to be entertaining to that.
No.
So yeah, screenwriting, making movies. That would be my dream job, and those can pay well, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I know, definitely.
That's cool.
Kind of like you, I think it would be fun to be an author. I like the thought of being home in my big house and, with my computer and, dreaming up all these stories.
Yeah.
However, I think now I'm changing my mind and I would like to be a lady who lunches.
What the heck is that?
What does that mean?
The ladies who lunch, you don't really work. Because I've worked, for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And this is my dream job. I
lunches.
wanted to be this, since college.
Yeah.
And I got to do those things. So yeah, I would like to try out some upper crust ladies who lunch.
So when you
Passive income is really my dream.
There
to
you
just
go.
be able to travel
Investor.
and not worry about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, this is about doing something, people. This is about a job.
Dream
It is
job.
a job.
Yeah.
It is their
Lunching is a job?
No,
their
that's
sole
not-
That's what she
job.
said. I find this interesting. I want to read it. 'Cause I have met numerous people like this, including one of my golf buddies' wives who does the same job. Bill Lee, or Leah, I think it's just Bill Lee, says, I found my dream job without knowing it. I drive city transit bus and have never been happier. And there's something about that job that a lot of people that do that really enjoy it. So, Bill, tell us what it is you love most. Is it just you get to know some of your regulars, so you get to chit chat with them, or what is it? Because I know multiple people that really do enjoy that job.
That's cool.
You're out and about, you're meeting the public. Sometimes that can be good interactions and bad interactions, but you're making the city run, and you feel like you're accomplishing something during the day.
Along those lines, Rod, the job that I feel the people who do this love the most, if that makes sense, is firefighting. Now, I'm going to ask you about this because you're married to one. But when I was doing reporting here at the station, I would talk to a lot of the firefighters, deal with a lot of the firefighters. My father-in-law is a retired Portland firefighter. And every time I talked to one of those men or women, it just seemed like they were so passionate about what they did. They seemed to love what they did. They always had this great smile on their face, this great energy when you go to the station.
Because they only work 14 days a month.
Okay, whatever the case may be.
They'll tell you that,
Is it true, though? I mean, does your husband love what he does?
Loves it. Yeah, loves it. And I mean, because it's a physical, you work out on company time. You have a brotherhood and a sisterhood with, you're living and sleeping and eating with these people. And, it's funny when you said, like, what do you guys do when you go over to Bend? Like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, we have like instant 100 friends plus their spouses and kids that I've known for years that were 100 guy firefighters of like, hey, you need help moving, you need help this, I'll build you a deck, I've got this other business. And
Really, those are good friends.
right, it is.
I'll help you move.
But no, they love it. It's a physical thing. Everyone is happy to see, and this is a joke between like firefighters and cops because they just have this fun rivalry, of like everyone is happy to see a firefighter.
Sure.
You may not always be happy to see a cop if you're getting pulled over or something's going wrong, but like you're always grateful and happy to see a firefighter, and they feel that and love it, and they're helping people.
I like that. I think that would be a cool job if not for the flames.
Right.
And it is a job
they love that, though.
It's a physical job, but you also have to use your mind. Obviously, that's how you stay alive.
And it's cool skills. We saw that terrible accident that, thank God, they got those two people out of the car this morning on I-5. But like, I always think of it in my husband's terms of like, wow, this is you get on scene and you're like, okay, here's my training kicking in of like, where in this situation is the pressure points and where do I cut in the car to safely get that person out and not crunch it more, and like, where are the braces in that type of car? They like study these certain types of cabs and cars and what's flammable and what's not and what tools, and so it's cool.
Yeah.
But and a lot of little kids want to be firefighters.
Jennifer Taft has
right on the
some
truck.
different suggestions.
Okay.
All right.
So not only what she wants to do, but what she sees us doing. So Rod, you are a food commentator. Nina, you're a fashion and entertainment news reporter.
Right.
Drew, a comedian or a drag queen, because you do look good in a dress.
My sons probably would ask that I do something else for work.
And me, Jennifer thinks I should be a therapist.
A therapist?
Yes. So that's,
Did she call you the Oprah therapist? Or Oprah
She did
therapist
earlier
the other
this
morning?
week.
You would be a good
See,
therapist.
I
a bit
agree.
of a mean streak, though, Brenda, as a therapist.
No, she just was going to tell it to
Nothing
you
Brenda's
straight.
mean, but I could see, that's my point. I think
She's
she
gonna
would
be
call me out
polite.
at times.
Yeah, that's
supposed
what
to.
my kids said. They told me.
But
you would
people
be
need that more.
A terrible therapist
Tough
because you're
love
too direct.
sometimes.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually, I've spoken to a therapist a few times in the last year. I've actually been surprised by how often she's like, basically giving me excuses for why I do what I do. And I think to myself, I
Instead
said,
of calling you out on
aren't you supposed to like tell me I'm doing this wrong and how I need to improve it? And she's always like, I guess the idea is to like build you up so you don't feel so bad about yourself.
Or it's understanding the why,
Yeah.
right? She's
Yes.
not building you up.
And
She's
also let you know
just
you're not
trying to
alone.
open
A lot of
eyes.
people do this because this, and this is why this isn't that crazy a thought that you're having. Or this is why it's not so crazy that you did what you did or reacted the way you did. So she's constantly telling me why it's okay that I did what I did. And I thought, I'm here to find out why I do it and for you to tell me to stop doing it. So that's not how it works, Drew. This is not how that
Well,
works.
that's interesting. And
Yeah.
it's her job to read people and be like,
Yeah.
he needs
Yes.
this uplift
You think
to
she'd come on
feel
Sunrise
better
Extra?
about it.
We could pepper her with questions about you.
I know what she charges an hour, and so yes. I know it could happen.
I saw
It's
someone,
possible.
where was this? David Ortiz, he says, and I've seen your store. He says, I started Bricks and Minifigs in Portland, and now we have 42 stores across the country and in Canada. Thank you, Portland, making people's dreams of playing with Legos all day is my dream job.
That's what
I
that
saw
is.
you, yeah, on
Legos.
Sandy.
Wow.
They have a Bricks and Minifigs, and it's like mini figurines and Legos and all
That's
that kind of
interesting.
stuff.
You should go do that story, Nina. Those
should.
when you highlight businesses sometimes, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
So Sophie Johnson says, I found my dream job by becoming corporate accounting after I finished school. Oh boy.
Corporate
and did I
accounting.
love every moment. Corporate
Hold them
accounting.
accountable.
There you go.
It's interesting to know what makes people tick, isn't it? What they really enjoy.
Right.
Because now to
Numbers
me, the
are
thought
my
of being an
death.
accountant would be like,
Boring.
oh my gosh.
Me and
right?
numbers.
Yeah. But
But
some
so that's
people love
interesting.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to be a some kind of doctor, perhaps even a surgeon, save a life or two. I mean, that's got to be a pretty good feeling at the end of the day. Now, I know there's also days that don't go that well, but I'm thinking about the positive days where you come and go, yeah, your daughter's going to live.
I just
saved her life.
That would be-
Yeah.
I mean, on a bad
You're
day,
welcome.
we flub a couple words, but
Right.
oh, that's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure if
No
you're
kidding.
a doctor.
Well, I can have
Surgeon.
bad days being a forecaster. Please continue.
Yeah, no kidding. Kate Heisman, this is cool. She says, I wanted to entertain as well, Drew, but right now I'm trying to get into the audiobook industry, reading to people. I've been researching this all year. Audiobooks are huge now. Wouldn't it be fun to do that? Yeah, and you can
Yes.
set up like your own kind of, mini studio, like in a closet or your basement. Just get some sound padding.
Have you all thought of doing that yourselves? Because
Yes.
that does seem like easy money, maybe.
I always tell Pat
Voiceovers and
Doris
stuff?
he should.
Pat Doris,
got those
he does
Big
it.
voice.
Does Pat do some of
I think
that?
he does
I
it, yeah,
told him
voicing.
from the jump. I'm like, you've got a voice.
Yes.
But often, nowadays, you need different voices. You don't just need those, classic voices.
Yes.
You need all kinds of voices.
Yeah.
Right, your voice could be the voice.
The
in certain
voice.
situations.
There used to be a guy, I don't know his name, and he lived, I think this is correct, he had a home up in the Colorado Rockies. And he was one of those guys, if you traveled a lot, you would hear his voice almost at least on one station in nearly every market in the country. And
doing like commercials.
those
and-
jobs in the
yeah.
old days paid bank.
Yeah, they
my
did.
gosh. Hey, Phyllis Hintz says, I wanted to be an archaeologist, but that will have to wait for my next life.
That would be cool.
And Monica Shearer says, I'm doing my dream job, retirement.
There you go.
I love my nursing career for 40-ish years. Now I volunteer at the school and food pantry. That's
Oh, good
awesome.
for you, yeah.
Michelle Lorraine, she says, I have my dream job as well. I opened up my own dog grooming salon during the pandemic.
Yeah.
She says it's going great, although she adds, and this is something we've heard a lot in all kinds of industries, she says it's hard right now to find experienced groomers to come work at my shop. So she's having some hard difficulty finding help. But go ahead, Michelle Lorraine, jump on the stream one more time and tell us where your dog grooming salon is located, and maybe people will come
Do you
check you
train
out.
them? Like, what do they need to do? We could put a little advertisement on for you.
Oh, yeah. That's not cheap,
No, but she says,
right?
well, yeah.
People pay good money to have their
no
dogs groomed.
Courtney Willingham on YouTube. What's up? Good morning. She says, I love to make bread, so I would be a bread baker. The smell of baked breads just make people smile and makes me smile. Yes, it does.
Stanford Walker thinks I sold cigarettes on flights.
The TWA.
I don't think we...
Was there smoking allowed?
I don't... Well, yeah. No, when I first started, you still had the smoking sections. But
Can you believe
I'm pretty
that?
sure we didn't sell
You could
sell
smoke
cigarettes.
on an airplane.
Yeah, you could. Just
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
it was
back,
always
and it
the
would
back.
waft up.
Yes, if you had to go
Yeah, that's
back
going to stay back there, I'm sure. anymore.
real.
Right, same with restaurants.
Isn't it weird
though.
that we still have planes? I mean, how old are these planes that we're flying in that they still have the no smoking signs on the planes?
Oh, yeah.
Time to
I
upgrade.
think as
Well,
a reminder,
yeah.
more or less. But
Our producer Brian Folsom says Astro's social media manager or Guy Fieri's food quality control operator.
Ugh.
I saw a guy
Guy
coming out of the
Fieri.
nines one day, and I that shock
Yep.
of like blonde hair, and
Yep.
he's
I know.
getting into a limo, and I just caught a brief glimpse of him, and I asked the doorman, I said, "Who is
That's
that?"
who I think it was.
And then one of them said, and the other one said, Guy Fieri. They were not on the
We
same
are
page.
not allowed to say.
I met him through HW right before he blew up. It was the fall of 2006.
Okay.
And he told me, he says his name, Guy Fieri.
Fieri.
Like he told me like fee, like pay the fee, and my uncle Eddie. So I said, how do I say, because I didn't know who he was at the time. I said, how do I say your last name? Fieri.
yeah, that's easy
Yeah.
to say it that way. Yeah. Joshua Madrid has spoken.
Oh,
Should I?
please.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Good morning. Dream job used to be a starting player on Real Madrid.
Real Madrid. Soccer.
Is that what that is?
Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah, Real. I'm thinking, what is Real Madrid? Real Madrid. Soccer. Okay, I get it. You can tell I'm not I didn't grow up with soccer.
Maybe you should
So
not be
anyway.
the Joshua Madrid voice box.
Boy. But then
you watched it.
He says, realistically, I'd love to open and own 2 businesses here on the west side, a cocktail bar and a brunch spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
We would come to visit you.
Real Madrid. Yeah, that's what that is. Real Madrid.
Michael Garrison says, I've always loved being in public service and helping people is in public relations. Jennifer Taft is such a good artist, and oh shoot, I just lost it.
Oh, she wants cartoons or
in
something, right?
Yeah,
Did you get it?
cartoons and
What did she? I had
going
it
back
too.
to teaching.
Michelle Lorraine jumped back on. She told us she lives in Corvallis. This is the dog grooming business.
yeah.
So she says she lives in Corvallis. That's where her business is. She has an apprentice that she's training right now, but she's really in need of a groomer with at least a couple of years of experience to help her out because, again, business is doing well in Corvallis.
Nice.
Jeremy Lynn Hurley says any job can be a dream job if you have meaningful work, good people you work with, and enough money to support your family. I like that. You know, we were talking about this yesterday. I think we were kind of having a side conversation. I said, can you imagine if you didn't have a job where you could go and laugh? I feel like we laugh a lot here, behind the scenes and on TV, and usually I'm laughing at Drew. And I said, well, who do you? Like, because you're the go-to guy.
You're very welcome.
So,
Who makes me laugh?
Yeah.
Oh, honest, I mean, all of you, 3 of you make me laugh at some point, for sure. I mean, there's a funny man down there at the end, for sure. Nina is very funny in her own.
So somber.
The behind the scenes, Nina Melhoff, very sarcastic and funny, I find. Very sarcastic and funny. Probably a little bit too reserved to really show your true self to the entire audience, but she can be pretty irreverent. And Brenda Braxton is probably one of the quickest humorists I know. Like, she'll come up with some quick lines, this person right here.
She's smart.
During the middle of the show. Yeah, you're just smart humor.
Yeah. Yes.
really? Well, thank you.
You are the deliverer of smart humor.
And I'm the giggler.
Yeah.
I do
You really are the giggler.
Oh my gosh, you can giggle.
You are easy to make laugh. I always said, hey, I wish the audience was filled with
We were
Brendas.
all frustrated the other day because
Yes, 'cause-
Brenda was dying laughing. And I was over there.
couldn't get her to
scrolling
laugh.
my phone.
No.
Could not make me
And
laugh.
then I said something snarky and she cracked up. That is your humor. She likes a little bit of edge.
When Ashley Corslin was working with Brenda on this show, wasn't it with Ashley? You
Yeah,
guys.
you guys would always laugh.
They would literally have had to go to
Laughing
weather
attack.
one
What was
time
that?
to save the show. We couldn't get them to stop laughing.
What was that?
No.
Why all the laughter?
Because we were under stress. There were a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes, and it's like when you are like under pressure and things are going wrong, and then maybe you're
You're
at
just
a
like, you
funeral
have to laugh.
and you're like
Yeah.
something sad, but
Yeah.
then it's like tense, and then you just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually it. We thought something was funny.
Remind me not to invite Brenda to my funeral.
It
Comes out in inappropriate ways, is what I'm saying.
All right, Howard Wright, a touring roadie for one of my favorite bands. That would be fun. And then I like Jack Ely. He says dream job would be a high-end hotel owner on he says a private lake in Northern California. Everyone is happy when on vacation. But when I worked in hotels when I was younger, that's also an industry I really enjoyed. Working at the
Hospitality like
hotel.
that, yeah.
Really did.
I would think that would be kind of fun, yeah, working it. I mean, I don't know. Then you also get kind of those certain guests that are difficult.
But there's, especially if you're in a high-end property, high-end resort property, there's energy of being on that property. And for the most part, you are dealing with people that are really having the time of their life to be there.
I would also love to work at the zoo.
Yeah.
Even
okay.
like shoveling poo-poo from like the rhino or something.
Wow.
Like I think it would just be cool to be in the presence of amazing animals.
Hey,
you know, that,
you're
like,
in
not
luck.
everyone-
The zoo just sent me a text. They say they actually need someone to pick up the
They
poop
do
there.
the poo-poo?
Yes. So
I would
will you give
love
them a
to
call?
work at the zoo. I
Yeah.
think it would be really cool.
We had a reporter on this very show, the Sunrise Show. Jennifer Iverson was her name. Iverson.
Iverson.
I threw an R in there that I shouldn't have. Iverson. She's now Coleman. She got married. Anyways, she got out of the business to go work at the San Diego Zoo
Oh God, that's a great.
Was that right?
person, that's
because that was her dream job to work at the zoo.
Yeah.
What's
Was
that?
she doing PR for them, or was
She was. I think she became like their event manager there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She held a couple of different positions before she left, and she did say she admitted at one point like it became they worked her hard. The pay wasn't great. They were paying her for with the love of animals.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but she did have the same sort of idea that you had, like let's go to zoo.
You know, speaking of, it makes me also think one of the things enjoyable about the airline industry is, again, the airport is another spot that has a lot of
It's exciting.
energy. There's a lot of
I
energy.
agree. I love going to the airport.
There, you know.
I
My
love
husband
going
was
to
like
the
a
airport.
bag boy. While he was a young firefighter, he would like work part-time at the Redmond Airport over in Central Oregon and like loved it. Because it is just exciting. The people are going places and there's,
I'm glad
hustle
he has
and bustle
happy
and
memories, because now you could not pay me enough to be a flight attendant. The stuff
I wouldn't want to be a
happens
flight
on
attendant.
board.
But like working within the airport or rushing around and like you've got the big crowds and influxes and designing restaurants and I don't know what job that is, but
You want to be an
be cool.
architect.
I think two places with great energy that would be fun to work at: the airport and a university. Like there's great. I thought like high schools
people.
too, maybe, but nah, I don't know if I want to deal with high school age kids. I figure if you're at college, you're dealing with people who really want to be there. There's a lot of high school kids that don't want to be in high school. But if you're at college or if you're at that level, you assume that you're around most people that
You
want to be
stay
there.
young by being
Yes,
around young
absolutely.
people and
Energy.
fresh
Yeah.
I've
ideas.
been selling Cokes at the football games. That's another job I did once upon a time.
You were like the guy that
I was the guy holding Coke.
hawking.
Get your Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Ice cold Coke here. Yeah. I feel like kind of fun. There was energy involved there.
To me, the people who deal with the most energy, and this is a gift, the people who do this well, is middle school teachers. There is nothing like middle school and the energy when you walk in that building. It is off the chart.
That's true.
Off the chart.
Yeah.
That would be a good job, a second career maybe later, to work at a ballpark, a ball field. Maybe even be like an usher. Because I really just want to go
A
to watch
lot
the
of
games.
retirees do that at MODA. You'll talk if you ever
right.
strike up conversations with the ushers. A lot of them are retirees, and that's what they do, and they just love the energy of being there.
Yeah.
That story I did with that woman who was like,
Oh,
she's
right.
one of the longest employed ushers there. She was a journalist at a newspaper for years, and she retired. Was like, I love the Blazers. I'm just gonna go. And so she's seen like all kinds of concerts. She worked like the VIP section in MODA, and so she was escorting like
Nice.
Little John and everybody.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
story.
she said it was like the best.
And speaking of the Blazers, they have a job opening right now. If you're interested in being a head
coach?
basketball coach,
There you go. Dream job.
send your application to Portland Trailblazers.
If you don't like the job, get over it because it pays really well.
Yeah, just have to do it probably 1 year, maybe 2, and you'll be set for life.
Jennifer Taft, I did do sleepaway camp at the zoo. She says sleep at the zoo, it's way cool. I did it with the Girl Scouts. It is super cool. They have a summer camp
Yep.
that you can spend the night at the zoo.
It is. It's goodbye
Yes,
time.
That is.
you guys,
Oh,
thank you
wow.
so much
Yeah,
for
that
weighing
went
in.
fast.
We'll see you tomorrow.